This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to WCFL DolFans Talk. Hope everyone's having a wonderful night tonight. Let's go ahead and bring on my current co-host right now, Mr. John O'Hanlon, our middle-aged man.
What's up there, Papa Paul? How are you, brother?
Good, good. How are you doing?
Can't complain. Temperature's dropping, so we're good.
Lucky you. I wish it was dropping here. We're still up in the 80s.
We were at 92, 93, but high humidity, so it was a pretty sticky day outside.
Yep. Mr. Polk, Crazy Dolphin, Jaconda, Raphael Courtwright, Lewis, thank you all for the comments and joining us.
We need to get Jaconda to jump in here.
Yeah, I know. What I know, that man works too damn much. He works like 3 jobs.
Well, he's a young man. He's trying to, make his money so he can do what he's got to do.
Yeah. Winners will be here shortly. There's Mr. Polk. How you doing, Mr. Polk?
How are you, sir?
I'm doing okay. How you doing, Papa Paul? John, I heard what you said about the weather dropping, man. I'm not gonna lie. I Papa Paul, I am.
Yeah, it's a sticky one out.
Yeah. It's kind of rainy and a little thundering down here.
We had a light
getting one as well. So
yeah, we had some wind and a light drizzle in the last half hour, but that's about it.
Well, you guys are what, like 5 hours away from each other?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the weather could be totally different.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not telling me? I don't know. It could be different just across the street here in Florida.
Oh, no, it's everywhere. I told you on Monday's show, my wife went to the dentist. It's raining down there 20, 25 minutes down the road, and it wasn't raining here.
Oh, well, I got one better than that, John. Where I used to live at, about about maybe 6 blocks down the street, I could look down the street and it was pouring down rain, and the bone dry where I'm at.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Florida for you.
Well, I can remember the first time I ever saw that. I grew up in Connecticut, and it was during the summer, and we had this thing, they called it rec, where you went to the school that I went to during the summer to play games and hang out. And they had counselors, and they played games, they had art, they had this, they had that. We were out on the playground one day, and we were over near the jungle gym playing around, and we heard people screaming behind us. We turned around, and it was just an absolute downpour 30 feet from where we were. So we all went running. We were jumping in and out of the rain.
Right. I can understand that.
Yeah, I've watched it come across the lake. I lived on a lake before. I watched it come all the way, 3/4 of the way across the lake and never get to my house.
Yeah. Yep.
Good evening, Joe Rist. How you doing out there, brother?
Yeah, everyone in chat, please hit that like button and subscribe and support
If anybody
WCFL.
wants to jump on, hit that link and come on in.
Let's see.
So we cut to 53
Yeah.
and then made some more changes today.
And added 10 people to the practice squad.
Oh, there's at least 10. I think actually the practice squad is full. I think there's 18.
The last article I saw, I only counted 10, and there's only allowed 17 altogether.
No, you're 18 if you have a foreign player. So we do have one foreign player that's on there. He doesn't go against the number.
It's 17 with the foreign player.
Well, 18
Yeah.
counting your third quarterback.
No, it's 16 if you have no foreigner, and it's 17 if you do have foreigner.
Right, but then you're allowed your third quarterback who doesn't go against your roster.
He doesn't go against the roster, but he's still on the practice squad.
All right, so 17 total.
Yeah, because they said we have that third quarterback signed to the practice squad.
Right.
Yeah. And he's the guy who threw the Hail Mary to Javon Holland, and Javon Holland ran it back for a touchdown.
Yeah, another Jets quarterback.
Yep.
Yep.
It may be they just picked him up to get information, about the team, even though we don't play them until later in the year. But
yeah, and same thing with Mike White with Buffalo.
Yeah, they just want information out of him. If Mike White lasts the entire year on Buffalo, I'll be surprised.
That's for real.
But we play in week 2, and now they got somebody that knows our playbook, and
yeah, we'll see.
I'm a little shocked because they cut my boy Chris Brooks. I think he's gonna, if he does go to another team, I think he's gonna ball out. I really do. I think he's just that talented. But that's business. It's the business. That's what it's all about.
They signed another running back, and they didn't sign him, which I'm shocked at that, to the practice squad.
Yeah, well, there's got to be a reason.
Well, somebody mentioned that he may be put on the IR of as far as our team goes. I'm not too sure. That's just a rumor. I don't know if it's true or not.
No, they would have had to have already put him on the IR. They couldn't do it now after they cut him.
Yeah. Trying to find that list. Who knows?
And we kept 4 tight ends.
Yeah.
Four running backs plus Ingle.
For the 5th one.
Mhm.
And then we re-signed one of the tight ends to the practice squad, Rico.
Right. Yeah.
Rucci.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did re-sign him.
I think Nick Needham is on that practice squad too.
Yes, he is. Nick Needham.
Yeah.
We signed Nick Needham to the practice squad. And as John and I was talking before, we don't know what was said. I mean, maybe they said we're going to sign you to the practice squad. Let's just do this way, and so on and so forth.
He might get snatched.
I mean, we don't have a clue what's being said back there. So,
Right. Like
and
I
we
said
did.
before, yeah.
I was going to say we did claim that wide receiver off of waivers.
Yes, from Green Bay.
From Green Bay.
Yeah.
I think the boys with the Bulls, something like that.
Dubois.
Okay, that's how you say it.
Yeah.
What I heard about him is that he's good, but his issue is getting off the line of scrimmage. They were saying that's the issue with him, is getting off the line of scrimmage. But other than that, they say he's pretty good.
Well, listen, when they got to cover Waddle and Hill, he may not have too much problem getting off the line.
Well, and Hill is still in a no contact jersey.
That's fine.
Waddle is. I mean,
That's fine. Waddle still is. Phillips is. I mean, there's guys that they got to protect because you need them.
There he is.
I'm in
Winners,
the
what's
midst
up,
of
brother?
so I'm in the midst of eating and talking to you guys at the same time. And one of my buddies, shout out to my buddy Danny Angel. She is an adopted Miami Dolphins fan from Canada that we just conversated about this about a week and a half ago. So I want to welcome her in the panel, and I want to welcome and say hello to everybody that's in the panel and that's commenting and that's everywhere. So how's everybody doing tonight?
Can't complain, brother. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well, John. I'll be seeing you guys in 2 weeks. I'm excited, yo. I really am. I really am, man. I'm happy that we re-signed Nick Needham. I'm very happy that we cut Driscoll. I'm happy that we have a few additions that I was a little worried about the other day when we were talking on the Billy Finch talk show. But I still say that we still have some issues at depth. And I just need to really see a lot of this play out. I really do. I mean, I love this team as much as you gentlemen do, but I have a little bit of worries. The worries are not as much as they were yesterday, but me and Paul talked earlier today, and there's still some concerns and some things that still need to be answered. You know, we're going through the first year defense again with Coach Weaver. This core has not played together. So their first test will be against a very tough Jaguars team that's not coming to sit there and play tiddlywinks with us. Then 3 days after that, we're playing against a division rival that we have to beat. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I mean, everybody's sitting there saying we could go 1-1. No, 1-1 is not an option. You think about it straight up. These first two games can have very potential issue with us in the playoff time. So we have to win these games. It's got to be 2-0. Can't be 1-1, because if it goes against the conference or it goes to a tiebreaker later on in the season, that can come back to bite us.
yeah.
So we got to be balls to the wall right from the door, gentlemen.
Yeah, I agree. We gotta get over that. And especially when it's toward the middle of the season and the weather's cold. I know I'm not a player, and I to be able to understand playing in the cold weather, but we have got to. If we want to go to the Super Bowl, we will find a way to do it. Cold weather, rainy weather, it doesn't matter. We will find a way to do it if we really want to go to the Super Bowl, just like other teams have.
Mm-hmm. So,
Yeah. So, what I was about to say, my concern, and I got to go back and look at the roster and the practice squad. I brought it up a couple times, and I'm still a little bit concerned. It's the center position. So, when I get off, I'm gonna see if they address that. Because when they dropped Driscoll, I
Okay.
said, okay, that may be a potential center, but we dropped him, so that's my concern.
Okay. A list of 10 players announced was highlighted by arguably the two biggest names among the roster cuts Tuesday, which was Nick Needham and Eze. They're both back on the practice squad.
yeah.
You got safety Jordan Colbert, defensive tackle Jonathan Harris, O-lineman Chasen Hines, linebacker Daquan Jackson, cornerback Isaiah Johnson, tackle Bayron Matos, running back Anthony McFarland Jr., and tight end Hayden Rucci.
I think the only one that really surprised me there is McFarland.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's where it surprised me signing him and not Chris Brooks, really, because Chris Brooks had a great first game and even good in the second game until he got that concussion.
And then the other thing I look at is right now we have Wright that's going to be potentially not now, but in the near future, replacing Mustard. And I was hoping that we'll keep Chris Brooks to eventually replace Wilson Jr. Because you're talking about two big backs, and then when you look at Wright and Mustard, they're similar in size and whatever, not running style, but in size. So that's why I was hoping they would keep him. But like I said, it's a business, so somebody
Well,
grab him.
I think too, with the way that McDaniel wants players, he wants them smaller and faster.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why the Chris Brooks thing, he's a little bit bigger. Jeff Wilson is smaller than him. Wright is smaller than him. He wants the speed guys. He's not worried about. He wants 4, 5, 6, 7 yards on a run, and then he for some reason, and I don't understand why they're not worried about a big back that can hit the hole on 4th and 1, 3rd and 1, and get you that first down.
Well, is go out for Joe saying our offensive line looks more like a depth start right now, or a depth chart.
Well, I mean, listen, we all bitched about it last year at the beginning, and they actually did pretty well. So,
and that's exactly what I was going to bring up. We sat there and bitched about it last year all summer long, and kept saying they need to do something. And then Greer and them came on and said, "Don't worry about the O-line. We're not worried about it." And they proved themselves right.
Yeah,
I mean, even though our offensive line was ranked 25th, and I think part of that is because of not converting a lot of the third downs, and also we just the last 6 games were just total clusterfucks for us.
Yeah, and like you said, with the offensive line, Bushbury did a pretty good job bringing in guys when the injury bug slammed our offensive line. He did a pretty good job bringing them in and sort of getting them in the right position and getting them to play well. So who knows? Let's see what's going to happen with this season. If he Bushbury progresses, who knows what's going to happen this season? Just got to wait and see.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, go ahead, John.
I saw a good interview today with Armstead and Patrick Paul. So, and Armstead said he loves the fact that he gets to teach these young guys and work with them. And so Patrick Paul's doing great learning, understanding where his feet has to be and where his balance has to be. And, they showed a little bit of video here and there on both of them. And yeah, that was a nice interview to be able to watch. And it seems like that's what a lot of our veteran guys are doing is the older guys are working with and teaching the younger guys.
Right, like Calais Campbell on the defensive side. Yeah, you got him as a veteran. He can help develop those guys over there. On that
I mean,
side.
this is his 18th year as a veteran.
Mm-hmm. Right, and you got Ramsey, Poyer, Fuller, all teaching the young guys that are playing next to him or with him or behind them, and Holland's a veteran. I mean, so I mean it's you got a good mix there. Offensive line. I don't know who your veteran standout would be, but I mean we do have guys with years in the league. So,
well, I know. No. I know, as you said earlier, McDaniels wants a smaller, faster guys, but he's got to realize not every position is going to take a smaller, faster guy.
Well, I'm talking about when we're talking about receiver and running back, and that's what he's looking for is the smaller, faster guys, the guys that can create separation or hit the hole and get through real quick and not have to bang it through there. McDaniel is not looking for a Jerome Bettis or somebody like that. It doesn't fit his system.
I can understand it, but as far as wide receiver goes, that's why I was happy that he went and got the guy from Green Bay because he's a bigger body. And at first I was thinking to myself, with the wide receiver room, you don't want to just have all small, fast guys. You want to have a big body guy even though we got 4 tight ends, you still want to have that big body wide receiver.
And I understand that, and I agree with you on that. But I think that's kind of where Julian Hill comes in. He's a big boy.
Oh yeah,
Oh, no,
Julian
that's
Hill.
what
Jonu's a pretty big guy too. Jonu's not small.
Smite, all them guys though are not small,
Yeah.
but 1% is still good to have at
And-
least one
And
big body wide
got
receiver.
we really have to expect more use of the tight ends this year since they kept 4 of them. Where
Mhm.
last year they only had 2.
Well, I
And
think
he-
keeping
he-
4 also is why we only kept 4 receivers.
Mhm.
It's
They're going to
very
line
possible.
Hill or Jonu or out at wide receiver.
Well, we just
whether it
picked
be
up
in a slot
we just picked up that 5th receiver. Don't forget
Right.
Grant Dubois,
And they cut Driscoll to put him on the
50.
50. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, who got let go for Ferguson? Because I seen Ferguson signed up back. He's back on the team as the long snapper.
I saw it. As defense, it was a defensive lineman.
Okay.
Damn, it was one of the defensive linemen. Or was it defensive lineman or lineman? It was one of the guys on the defense. They let go to put
Make
Ferguson
room
in the 53.
Let's see if I can pull that up real quick.
Scotty, welcome to the show, Scotty. Scotty's saying Tanner will end up getting cut when OBJ and Craycraft return.
Oh, absolutely. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who he said now?
Tanner Connor.
Oh,
Tanner Connor, the tight end.
yeah, because actually I thought Rucci would have took his spot.
Well, I mean, Tanner Connor had some. They both had good games. I think it was a tough choice on the 2 of them.
Let's see.
There was actually quite a bit that happened today. So
Scotty said we only kept 5 defensive lines, so it was not a defensive lineman that was let go.
it might have been one of the linebackers. I forget. I know I saw it, but I didn't write it down, and I forgot
Yeah.
to send it to you. So,
Yeah, it was a lot of movements. Definitely was a lot of movements.
there's still going to be more movement. I mean,
Yeah.
you're gonna get a guy that gets hurt in practice, and they're gonna go, all right, well, this guy was released by this team. He's not on a practice squad. Or there's also a rumor that they're trying to trade for Cleveland's backup quarterback.
Yeah, Dorian, Thompson, Robinson.
Yeah, there's a rumor
Okay.
they're trying to trade for him, and if they do that, then they'll end up cutting the kid they just brought in.
I hate rumors because that's all they are, rumors.
Well, I mean, it's
No,
stuff
that-
I'm seeing is that you
Yeah,
scroll
no,
through
I-
Facebook and things pop up, and I
Trust
don't
me.
always
Yeah,
I don't always click on them because some of them are just clickbait. But
I know. I understand. I know what you're saying. It's
No,
yeah,
I heard
yes,
the same
FBL.
thing.
We did keep 4 tight ends.
Now, I heard the same thing John heard. Plus, one of the newest podcasts out there, DGE, did a special on Dorian because he heard the same thing, and he was so he did a little film thing on Dorian Thompson Robinson. So I hope it comes to pass from what I'm hearing about it.
listen, I'll take him over another Jets quarterback anytime.
Exactly, because what DGE was saying is that with Coach McDaniels they can develop this guy. He's not a Skylar Thompson or Mike White. If you develop him, he's going to be a better quarterback than those 2.
Well, I've said it before. I'll say it again. It's hard to find a good backup. It really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah,
Because if they were that good, they'd be starting somewhere.
that's just like back in the days with the Dolphins. We had Bob Greasy. Then his backup was Earl Morrow. And Earl Morrow was a very good backup quarterback.
Yeah, but you got to remember, you didn't have 32 teams in the NFL either.
Right. And then also too, what's that guy name we had? He was a good backup not too long ago. I think
Matt
his
Moore.
first name is Matt Moore. Yeah, I
Yeah.
liked him as backup.
Yeah, Matt Moore was here for a long time. He was here for many, many years.
What's up, Mike Sherrod? How are you doing out there, brother?
And
Yeah,
for all you out there that keep saying, we want Tannehill as the backup, two things. One, he wants too much money. And two, Tanny's going to sit there and wait for the first 3, 4, 5 weeks to go by and see what quarterback gets hurt. And then somebody's going to be calling him and telling him they want him to come in and start.
Yeah, true.
He's not taking a backup role yet.
Okay, let's see. Okay, this is not showing the cuts.
Now I know you were laughing at Paul.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
we still got Cameron Good.
Yeah, we still have him.
He's on the pup list.
Yeah. What's up, Hooked Up Joe?
What's
Hello.
up, Joe?
What's
How
happening?
are you, brother?
Doing
what's going on,
well.
Joe?
Just looking forward to the first real game and watching the cut down. Surprised by a few things, and
What were your surprises?
having 4 wide receivers was a pretty big surprise. Having 10 offensive linemen was a surprise. I didn't expect us to keep that many. I figure maybe they're just trying to figure out who pans out then when they fill the other gaps and people come back from IR, they would probably be trimming that offensive line down.
Well, they trimmed by one today by getting rid of Driscoll, so.
Okay, yeah, that's what they're doing. Is just they kept what they figured they could get rid of, and kind of do it a little late when maybe they can get through waiver wire if they're eligible for that.
And you got to remember, we went through, if I remember, 13 different combinations in 17 games last year on the offensive line.
Yeah.
Right. We need depth at every position where they can just move into the position, and we don't have to get somebody that was. The problem is they game plan. I mean, everything you do is based on what you're going to do, and then 3 plays in, one of them gets hurt, and they're switching to another position, and the whole game goes to hell. I mean, we saw that happen a few times.
Okay. I think that defensive tackle name is Leonard Payne.
Yeah.
Is that who you're talking about? Yeah.
No, he was cut originally. He was an original cut.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let's see.
Oh, and Storm Duck making it was a surprise. So we get to use our Storm Duck icons.
Yep.
That's really great.
That's gonna be
Well,
interesting.
I was talking to Papa Paul about that before we started, and my feeling is they cut Nick and kept Storm because they were more afraid of somebody grabbing Storm, and I think they probably had a conversation with Nick and said, "Listen, we're going to cut you, but tomorrow we're putting you right back on the practice squad if nobody grabs you." That's my own personal feeling. I wasn't in the building. I didn't hear the conversation. That's just the way I'm looking at it. I'm glad they re-signed Nick.
Oh, me too. Keep his
It's
mother in our streaming world too.
But Nick, being a veteran, didn't have to clear waivers. He could have signed with anybody right away.
Right.
Oh,
So-
Nick is one of those guys that's dedicated to the Miami Dolphins. He is.
Well, I mean, he was a UDFA that we got.
Right.
But I'm just saying, as he developed as a Miami Dolphin, he really became to be a Miami Dolphin. Oh, CBA, everything. What's up?
Hey, what is up? What's up, fellas? What's going on with you?
The superstar, the superstar showed up. Oh my
Hey,
god!
hooked up, Joe Dolphin Winners,
We
John
must
in
be
the
doing
building,
something. We
Mr.
must be
Paul.
doing something right.
Hey, let's get it cracking. What's up with y'all on this great Wednesday night?
Finally, we got blessed with your presence.
Hey, that's how we do it, man. We just pop up on you. We just pop out and show them, right? Pop out and show them.
That's right. All it takes.
What's on your mind, brother? What's on your mind tonight?
Man, I'm excited about this 53-man roster. I know people are a little, skeptical. They're talking about the offensive line and stuff like that. But I mean, when you look at it, there's always going to be a team that like has some holes somewhere. I mean, I think that's just the nature of the NFL. You're going to have some weaker spots in different areas. If Mike McDaniel feels like, hey, I'm comfortable with it going into the season, and I feel like I could hide these guys' deficiencies by my play calling, shit, let's rock. I mean, you the head coach, so I'm just going with what you're telling me. Chris Greer is saying, hey, we're good. Mike McDaniel saying, hey, we're good. So I mean, let's rock and roll. And honestly, there's no excuses. You just gotta get it done. Don't tell me about the labor pains. Just show me the damn baby at this point. I don't want. That's what I'm talking about. Let's get to it. So I mean, we got our 53, whatever it is. Let's go to war. I mean, let's line them up, and knock them down.
Right.
Okay, I want to hear your thought on the whole part of them not having Blake Ferguson on the initial 53.
Man, was it some kind of like technicality? I mean, because he did get re-signed, right?
Yeah, they re-signed him today, but I mean, did they just not see they didn't have a long snapper on there, or what?
I mean, it must have been some type of loophole. Like, I mean, you got to think there's a lot of like behind the scenes stuff that goes on with these teams and the organizations. So I'm sure there was kind of some loophole, don't include them on the initial 53, but find a way to get them back on. It must have been some contract situation or something like that. You just never know with these teams. It's always like some inner workings going on.
And he is a veteran, so he didn't have to clear waivers. They could just re-sign him.
Exactly. So I mean, and that's what I mean. These teams are smart, right? They kind of have an idea of what they want to do and what they want to accomplish. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes, even with like putting guys on injury reserve, stashing guys. There's a lot of guys that were hurt that probably got stashed for next season. There's a lot that goes on. I mean, we're seeing it as guys are going to injury reserve. We won't have them, but there's a lot of stuff that could be going on behind the scenes that, they're saying, hey, we need this guy next year. We want to stash him. Let's keep him around. So there's a lot of little stuff like that we don't know. But the Miami Dolphins are doing a good job. I think they're on the right path for sure.
What's going on, guys? How y'all doing?
Shake money.
What's up, brother?
What's going on? Hey, no, I came up to because Louis Jacques brought up the fact that Buffalo did that to his brother 2 times. So what happens is there's certain players you can only put like a certain amount of players on IR before the initial 53-man roster. So today they were able to put some more people on IR. So they put those guys on IR, and then they were able to sign them. So they did that to his brother, and Buffalo did that to his brother twice.
So I think the numbers I think it's like 2 initially you can put on there, and I think you can put on 6 after. Yeah. And I think he was probably part of that 6 that was, put on after the initial 53. But if you do it that way, I think you can still bring those guys back during the season.
Well, it's like OBJ and Craycraft are considered short-term IR.
Yeah. I mean, they're on like PUP, so they can come back after week 4.
Yeah, but the way it was described was short-term IR. So I'm assuming short-term IR is the same as PUP, basically.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing too. Like, there's a lot of like little designations you can give guys to get them back at certain times. But I think that with the OBJ situation, I think the Miami Dolphins have the luxury of saying, hey, at this point, we would like to have him towards the end of the season anyways. We feel like our wide receiver room is good enough for what we got. Like Malik Washington's playing well. Barrios is Barrios, and you still got Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. And then you're going to have some other guys maybe come back, like OBJ down the stretch. So, teams won't have, seen him a lot. So that's going to be a good thing, right? Teams won't they can't key on him. They can't watch film on him and determine what he's going to do. So I think if he comes out and he's healthy down the stretch, that could give us a surprise element that teams won't really like be keying on. So
You think?
Yeah,
will
you
lead
think about it. At the
Washington?
end of the year, Waddle was banged up a little bit. Hill was banged up a little bit. Mostert was banged up.
Yeah.
You can keep a guy like OBJ, if he doesn't play the first 8-10 weeks, no problem.
Hey, and maybe what the Miami Dolphins are doing are like they're flipping the script and saying, hey, if it's better that maybe guys are banged up a little bit early and we get them back later into the season instead of it being like us dwindling down the stretch, right? So saying, hey, a guy like OBJ, right? Typically we get to the end of the season and they're all banged up. They're all kind of somewhat hurting. They don't have injuries, but they went through a 17 game season. Now you get a guy like OBJ back, after week 8. Maybe he gives you a little boost to your wide receiver room of health and being available. So I don't know. The Miami Dolphins they have to do something different than what they've been doing. And that's my thing. When it comes to the injuries down the stretch, they got to find a way to stay healthy towards the end of the season. If Mike McDaniel figures, hey, I'd rather not have them earlier in the season and have them later, I'm fine with that at this point because we got to be strong down the stretch. And I think that's where we've dropped the ball the past 2 years. It's like these last 4 to 5 games. It's like we need to be playing at a very high level towards the end of the season, and we haven't been there. So we got to kind of get back there and just kind of lock in that stretch of games.
Right. And I think another reason too with OBJ is that we've been sprinkling veterans on the team. So with OBJ, he's a veteran wide receiver, and just like Armstead, we don't want to what's the word? We don't want to play him to the point where he gets hurt, where we need him, and in the middle of the season or in important games. So I think that OBJ is part of that sprinkling of veterans on our roster to help the quarterback. Help the wide receiver room, just like Calais Campbell and Armstead.
Yeah.
Well, I could definitely see Armstead sitting out week 4 and letting Patrick Ball play. Depending on how the first 3 go, to give him a rest.
Yeah, I mean, when we look at the offensive line, ideally, everybody would start and play the entire season. That's just not how we operate. I've come to terms with it. Like, guys are going to be shuffled here, shuffled there, and guys got to come in and play well, in the midst of it. So, I mean, I guess I've made my bed with it, and I'm cool with it. You got to be able to operate at a high level against those good teams. Miami's got to find a way to beat the good teams, and that's my thing. Like, okay, you can beat up. We know you can beat up on the guys who are average, and the guys you're supposed to beat. But you got to find a way to win some games against some really good football teams. And if it means keeping guys healthy or giving guys rest, do what you got to do, but there's no excuses when it comes to these games. You got to find a way to win because these are playoff teams, and you got to find a way to beat them in the regular season and show you're capable.
What's up, Tom?
What's up, brother Tom?
Tom, what's up, man?
What's going on, everybody?
Well,
This fucking thing.
You're good. We can see the top of your head.
Yep.
Better than nothing. I mean, I couldn't go outside. I was getting destroyed outside. Destroyed.
The mosquitoes.
Dude, I was breaking out in hives, like my whole arm.
Yeah.
So, what's everybody? Sorry to interrupt. How's everyone tonight?
You're good. We're doing good.
Solid.
The Yankees suck,
that-
but anything else is good.
Fucking terrible, bro.
One good player.
I gotta say that after getting beat 7-0 by the Astros.
You know I'm watching.
I know.
Fucking pitiful.
So, Tom, what you think about the 53 and roster and the cuts?
It'll change, but I mean, like I was saying, the surprising things so far, but I mean, it's hard because it's probably manipulation, would be having 4 tight ends, keeping Tanner Connor, having 10 offensive linemen holding on to Meyer. I'm okay with the 6 safeties or 5 safeties. Was it 5 or 6? Sorry.
I think it was 5.
5, I think.
5. we had 6 corners.
Yeah.
The 10 linebackers is somewhat of a surprise as well, especially if you were going to keep that many. I figured you would have kind of at least looked for maybe Bolton. I don't know if they got to bring him back. They brought back everyone they could.
Check that out.
4 receivers is obviously alarming, but I do think that'll change. There's a lot of good receivers that are out there in the pool.
Well, we already
We'll see what
signed.
happens in the dust.
We got Grant Dubois from the Green Bay.
Yeah, we got the kid from Seattle too. Actually, I like that kid, Eskring.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Do you think
I
they
don't
figure
mind that
Malik
guy. I mean,
Washington?
the kid
gonna
from
do something?
I think Malik's our 3 right now. Honestly, I think he gives you
And he's one
more options than Berrios. Honestly, Berrios is a straight slot, a little guy with speed, but not like the playmaking abilities that you could get from Malik. I mean, you see what they're trying to do with him. They ran a lot of the type of same packages we had with Easy last year. I mean, we only got to see the very beginnings of what it could be with the end arounds, the athleticism. Easy's appealing because of his height. Just need him on the field. We don't have anybody tall. All of our receivers are sub 6'2".
Yeah.
Even smaller.
We got some small guys, man. We do got some small guys.
That's kind of worrisome. That's one of the things I was a little worried about. You know, we do have some small dudes out there.
Yeah, and you know what? It seems like it's kind of like the Shanahan way. Even in San Francisco, they don't have like big wide receivers. They got kind of like small, stocky guys. But
Right.
I don't know. I mean, maybe that's the new way of the receiver, though, as not having the tall guy who could, jump over and grab a football. I mean, I like Michael Thomas. I thought Michael Thomas would have added some versatility to the wide receiver room.
Right.
Instead of the OBJ pickup, but they may be figuring he's washed at this point, so you just never know. But I think Malik Washington does give you some juice, though. I think he's got a little bit more juice than Berrios. And when you run those end arounds and the reverses and stuff like that, he can give you a little bit, in that area of the game for sure.
And even if they
What
don't
about the
use
running
him
back
for those,
room?
real quick, if they
Sorry, go
decoy him in those end arounds and things of that
Yeah.
nature, it would be helpful because you keep the linebackers honest. You have to keep that
Yes.
safety in the third quarter, or the safety has to be honest. So if they cheat one way, which happens a lot in these motions, especially when you got Tyreek going from left to right and that corner has to follow him the whole way. If that safety cheats because he sees Washington going in the slot and moving left or right, you might get lucky and hit a few hitters.
And it really is just keeping guys honest, right? And if guys are cheating, then that's how you beat them. Like, it only takes us getting a crease like that to take it to the house. So I'm sure Mike McDaniel's thinking, hey, let's get some guys on the field who can be a threat. And if safeties, corners go to cheating, we're gonna gash them, right? I mean, that's the nature of football.
Do you think our tight end room being more we have a bigger tight end room? Maybe they're going to be more involved. He seems dedicated, and our running back room also has some wide receiver options there too. So while we only have 4 wide receivers, we do. Hopefully that's a good thing, and we're not relying our whole game on 8 wide receivers and nothing else. I kind of like seeing, more than 4, but it's good to see a mix, and hopefully, and I really like our running back room. I mean, if we can start really rotating our running backs and not having to use our passing game so much, it's just going to be, we got run game coordinator coach. I'm ready to see that come to fruition.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this team is this offense specifically is a little more versatile than last year's, right?
Yeah.
I think the tight end room is going to be better. I think the wide receiver room, you could say, they may be the same, but I think Malik Washington in that third wide receiver role will be used a little bit more efficiently than the Robbie Chosens or the Cedric Wilsons Juniors last year. I think he gives you a little bit more juice than those guys, and he gives you the versatility to use them on the end arounds and stuff like that. when it comes to the tight end room, you got Jonnu Smith, you got Rucci, you got Smythe. I think those guys are really versatile. And I think the Dolphins will use a lot more 12 personnel, 22 personnel this year. I think those are great run formations. When you can get into 12 personnel, double tight end set, and be balanced, it's hard for teams to key on you. It's just really hard for teams to key on where you're running the ball. Now, if you have a one tight end set and he's on the right side, teams are typically going to say, oh, they're probably going to run to the strong side. They're most likely not going to run weak to the tackle. They're probably going to use the tight end and try to come to this side. So when you add another tight end in and you're balanced and you got extra guys in the box, it's really just a numbers game. So if you got more numbers than they got, or if you're even, most of the time you'll win in those run opportunities. And that's what I'm sure Mike McDaniel is thinking. But you also have the capability to pass out of it. And Jonnu Smith is a really good weapon. You can see they're already going to use that play action, come across the field, bootleg out, hit him in the flat. Like those are going to be key plays for us. And in those run situations where it's short and third and short, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, you can expect some of that play action stuff. Like that's going to be hitters where it just kills the defense and they're not going to know what's going on.
It definitely opens the clip, especially in the red zone too. Like I've been saying everything you've been saying, like we've all been kind of saying that for a while, that these sets with the tight ends are going to be great. You're going to have so many options with the guard pulling, the tackle pulling. It's all comes down to body, hat on a body, match up your man, watch your assignment.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. You get to the second, third level. You guys got enough, speed, elusiveness to make the move. They might be able to make one miss. If you block 4 or 5 and you got a chin, a right, or a Mostert out there on the wing, like on the toss or the whatever, shit, cut them back.
Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah.
Endless possibilities.
Right,
and you stop being predictable. It allows going away from things that work. Cute. Sorry, go ahead.
Wright had that one good play in preseason where he went to the right side, turned it around, came all the way back, and went for 44 yards.
Yeah.
That's where the speed of these smaller guys comes into play, where he did have the blocking up front. The receivers blocked for the most part on the outside, but then he realized, hey, I'm not going to get anywhere. He turned and went the other way, and nobody could catch him.
Yeah. Man, as long as this O-line holds up, I think we'll be fine, man. I think we'll be fine. I think the defense is gonna be a lot better, and I think that's what people are kind of sleeping on. I think our defense will be, I'm thinking top 5 if they can play at that level during the season. Just imagine what this Miami Dolphins team can be, because I feel like last year the defense was kind of middle of the pack. We were a good football team. The offense kind of got beat up down the stretch. The defense was beat up down the stretch. But just imagine if, everybody's playing really good football throughout the season. I mean, this team could be really good. Could be really good.
Can I piggyback off of that, CB83?
Yeah, go ahead.
I live in Philadelphia, so I need this defense to be top 5 so we can sit there and erase Fangio out of our fucking minds.
Yeah.
Okay? Because all I'm going to be seeing is Fangio and his Eagles defense up here on the fucking TV screen, because they already fucking like jumping up for joy. Oh, man, he's going to do this. He's going to do that. I said, just wait. It's a marathon. You guys are saying that now. And we were saying the same thing in Miami last year.
We were.
I can promise you this.
Yeah, but you know as well as I do, Winners, you've seen some of those reports too. Some of these players are not happy with him.
I know they're not.
Already?
Already.
Oh, yeah. No, because, listen, Winners lives in Philly. Tom lives in Southwest Jersey. I live in the central of Jersey. We get to see a lot of this stuff. This stuff comes across our newsfeed and stuff. And there's some players and some leaks coming out of Philly. They're not happy with him. Some of the players are not happy with him at all.
Yeah. I mean, and you can imagine Fangio's probably a stubborn old guy who's just like, bro, you either run it my way. You either run it my way or you can get gone. I can find somebody to replace you. And I'm sure you can find somebody to replace him, right? But you better find a way to make it work if the player's decent. Like you better find a way to make it mesh if they're a really good football player. And there's a fine line
The only
between
other thing
being
that I was
tough.
worried about when they
Yeah. Go ahead.
was, think about it. Sorry, they had Sean Desai last year, and that's like his disciple. Like that's Fangio's protege to be like, he's going to run my type of scheme and adapt to be the young guy. They hated him last year. A lot of the old vets didn't even like him. That's why they had to bring in so many people. So when they brought in Fangio and they heard the reports that he's stubborn, he's old school, he's stuck in his ways. Yeah, they want to get back to that Jim Johnson nasty style of football the Eagles play. But you got to adapt, Vic. If you don't adapt, this team is going to eat you the fuck alive. You had all the issues with Sirianni and Hurts last year. This team they got a ton of potential with a great offense too. Them, the Packers, us, we possibly have, the Niners, the trios, the Bengals. We have like the great offenses that could do something. And that team can implode like that. Like where we have injury issues and hope together. Their issue is that both sides of the ball, they got problems, possibly. Sorry, Winners.
Yeah.
No, you're good. And he's on the hot seat. Sirianni's on the hot seat.
Hey, they wanted his butt gone last year, bro.
Yeah. I mean, think about it, CD83. Think about this. They were 10-1. And they had, you talking about our collapse? They were 10-1.
Imploded.
And
they don't even, and honestly, the national media didn't even really talk. They didn't even make a big deal out of it. But it was crazy. If the Miami Dolphins would have did that, oh my gosh. They would have still been talking about us this offseason. Like they would have still been saying, oh, they choked down the stretch.
Dolphins.
Tua's terrible. Like, bro, it's crazy. But Jalen Hurts gets a lot of leeway. He really does. He gets a lot of leeway. Yeah. And I've always thought that Tua's a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. And I thought Jalen Hurts in his system does a really good job. They do a really good job running the RPO. He's a threat running the ball. He could throw it. But I felt like Tua is just a better processor. He can just sit in the pocket and play quarterback better than Jalen Hurts can, right? So people used to have these conversations, and they were never saying that Jalen Hurts was a better quarterback than Tua early on. That just wasn't the conversation. Right. But once he went on that Super Bowl run, though, the narrative changed, and it was like Jalen Hurts is this great, fantastic quarterback who is, God's gift to quarterbacking in Philadelphia. And now they're kind of seeing that it's kind of evening out now. Like it's kind of balancing out again. And, people talk about the Jordan Loves and the CJ Strouds, but we will see. I'm telling you, this season we will see a lot in regards to these quarterbacks and how they play. I think
Joe Burrow comparison to Hurts. Yeah, you had a magical run to the Super Bowl. Otherwise, you've been hurt and not very good. Like, he's great. I like him, the potential, intangibles, but you're sitting there putting him on this pedestal. Great, you went to the Super Bowl. They had a good run.
And had a great run. And honestly, I mean, I thought he was kind of carried by the defense a little bit, right? I thought the defense played well down the stretch, kind of like what Mahomes did in the Super Bowl. I mean, kind of in his window too. But I mean, I don't know, man. I don't really give all these quarterbacks all this glory until they show it consistently. And we really haven't seen it consistently with these guys. Like we haven't seen it from Burrow consistently. We haven't seen it from Love consistently. CJ Stroud had a great rookie season. I can't take that away from him. But he also had a great run game, and he was held under 21 attempts. In a playoff game.
So, adjustments are going to be made. It's the NFL. It's not college anymore.
Yeah, and that's what I think that's what the good coaches do. The good coaches realize, hey, I got a young quarterback. I got to run the ball. I got to use play action. I just don't think Mike McDaniels is in that thought process, though. He's just like, yo, I'm going to let my guy play, and he's going to chuck it around. I think he needs to rein that back down a little bit, be more balanced, run the ball a little bit more, and I think it'll put us in a position to be more successful for sure.
Scotty, I totally agree with you. I look at Burrow's Super Bowl run a little different. Burrow made it to the Super Bowl because of very poor coaching in 2 games. If the Tennessee coach just kicks the damn extra point and they're up 7-6 instead of going for 2 when it's 6-6, that game at the end Tennessee's up 17-16. They're running the clock out. They're not trying to drive the ball down and kick a field goal and win the damn game. Totally different game.
Yeah,
Cincinnati made it from poor coaching decisions on two different coaches in two different games. That's how they got there. Scotty put up a comment saying that he sees Burrow as Marino 2.0. Went to the Super Bowl early and will never make it back.
And another one that's kind of like topsy-turvy is look at Herbert. Had a great rookie year and then not much. And people don't like to say, oh, well, you know, his weapons. What do you mean his weapons? He had an all-pro running back, an all-pro wide receiver, Mike Williams in the 2 or 3 spot that was pretty damn good, put up numbers there. You spent $180 million plus on your defense, and it just didn't work. Bosa, Mack, J.C. Jackson played, 6 games for you guys before they cut bait on that? Like, Derwin James is great, but he plays half a season.
Man, I dare you guys to go look at that Chargers versus Dolphins game, Tua's rookie year. Tua and Herbert's rookie year. Go back and watch that game.
I was there,
bro, and honestly, Tua outplayed Herbert in the game, and we literally killed Herbert that game defensively. The dude cut his hair after the game. He went from sunshine to a buzz cut after that game because our defense absolutely destroyed him. He just didn't know what to do, and he looked incompetent. And you know, I look back at those games like the early on into his career where he's shown that he could be a good quarterback, but he's also had flashes where it's like, bro, that's a bonehead decision. Like, we got to be better than that. And that's where Tua's come a long way. And I think he's still got some work to do for sure. But I mean, I think when it all shakes out, I think we're going to realize that we got the right guy. And that's what I'm looking forward to seeing at this point. And especially this season, it should kind of show up for us. And hopefully that's the case.
Listen, every quarterback makes boneheaded plays. Every quarterback reads something wrong because the defense confused them or, you know, got him into a trap and he didn't see what they were doing. There has never been a quarterback in this league that went through the entire season without throwing picks. It just doesn't happen. You want your quarterback to be, and Tom, correct me if I'm wrong, but you want your quarterback to be somewhere around 2.5 to 3 and above touchdowns to interceptions.
Absolutely.
Right. And then you got a good if they're at 30 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, they're having a good year. That's 3-1.
Yeah, that 3-1 is ideal, right?
Right, because you got to remember, some of them are tip balls. A lineman gets his finger on the ball, or a corner gets a hand out there and tips it, and the safety is right there to pick it off. It's not always the quarterback's fault. It's just the quarterback. They are the highest paid player on the team, but they take the most praise. They take the most criticism.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, guys, I got to take a quick commercial break.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Go find me a quarterback in a league who doesn't throw picks. Go find me a quarterback in a league who doesn't get unlucky at times. It happens. That's part of the game. Just like fumbles, just like sacks. That's all part of the game. You're just hoping that your team ends up on the better side of most of those stats.
Now, one other thing we've all been preaching a lot, which I think is becoming a lot more prevalent in front office executives, drafts, GMs, et cetera, teams. It's all about fit. Not only is it about scheme, it's about understanding who you're getting, how they learn, what they do best, what works for them, what works for you as a cohesion. That's why people are like hating and jealous about the Mike McDaniel marriage with Tua, like hashing them at the hip like that. Yeah, if they fail, they'll fail together. But at the same time, you kind of want something like that, as well as you see how Tua has been from day one. He's accountable, even if it's not per se his fault. It's kind of which we wanted to see and the growth we have been seeing. But they're doing it not only with quarterbacks because of the money situation, they're doing it across the board now for most teams. And the teams that are failing at it are getting busted picks that don't fucking work and setting their teams and organizations back for years to come. You wanted a flash in the pan because of a name. It doesn't work sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Do you remember, and I can't remember which game it was, Tom, last year. Do you remember there was a play where Ingold missed his block and Mostert got tackled at like the 2-yard line? They're walking back to the huddle and Ingold happened to be mic'd up and he said, "Sorry, I missed that one. I'll make it up on this play." And the very next play, he flattened that linebacker and Mostert walked right in the end zone.
Oh, destroyed.
Accountability.
Yeah.
He knew he missed his block. That's why he didn't score. He went on the very next play and destroyed that linebacker.
Yeah, man, and Tua talked about that a lot this offseason. I think the team kind of talked about that a lot this offseason. Just, hey, building relationships with each other, realizing that we got to hold each other accountable, being able to go to one another and be like, bro, like, we got to be better. Like, that's a part of it. But you can only do that when you have a good relationship with one another. You can't just, go around and be criticizing guys when you don't have a relationship with them. You got to kind of build that. So I think, our team is getting to the point where they're maturing together. And then we have a good mix of veterans in there too. And that's what I do like about this team. There's more of a veteran presence. I think last year's team was just really young. I think we were young everywhere when it came to defensive line, linebacker, safety. We just didn't have a lot of, veterans that had played a lot of really good football. So, I think the veteran presence this year in the locker room, the Calais Campbells, the Poyers, we've already seen Poyer's presence off the field. He's getting guys together for dinners and doing weekly things with the defense. So, man, it's only a matter of time for it clicks for these guys. Only a matter of time.
Oh yeah, if you look at it, what were we, the 4th or 5th youngest team last year, and now we're like the 2nd or 3rd oldest team.
Yep.
And we're only at 26 and a half years old.
And I think Mike McDaniel realized, damn, I'm a younger guy. I'm a nicer guy, right? I'm younger. I'm nicer. I'm a player's guy. Maybe I need to get some veterans in here who got a little bit of dog in them, who can get on some of the younger guys and that have the clout to do it, right? Calais Campbell can go in any room, whether it be the defensive back room, whether it be the linebacker room, whether it be defensive line where he's at, and he can say, "Hey, bro, y'all got to tighten up because this ain't good enough. We can't win with this." He can do that. He has the clout to do that. The guys last year, they're young. Christian Wilkins is not doing that. He's a happy-go-lucky. I want to have fun with everybody. This is what it's about. No, I think you have some different guys in there. Poyer's going to be that dog too. He's been around the block. He's going to say, "Hey, from a linebacker standpoint, we need you guys to be better here." That's not going to get it done. So holding each other accountable, having these conversations, iron sharpens iron. That's going to be the difference this year. If we can do that, we're going to be fine. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. The whole ideology that Flores had, as bad as he was with people, as bad as he was conveying it, not understanding his team, all the things we're saying, their TNT wall bullshit is the vet leadership this year and the accountability they're having this year. They don't take the remarks personal. It's not like resenting and festering in there. They're taking it in stride as a constructive criticism. Look, I want this because I see this in you. We're dogs together. We're busting our ass. You're better than that, bro. You know you're better than that. Not you're an idiot. You're terrible. You fucked it up. Get off the field. It's just so different. That's such a huge component. And I think people love last year's roster due to the names and familiarity and what the potential we had, and we went all in-ish. I think the roster is honestly better this year. We'll see how it fills out. Depth obviously is a concern in certain positions, but I think that people are going to be surprised with what we have. They just don't understand. Our linebackers have been atrocious. I've been saying Georgie Brooks forever, and I will continue to. Long was my pick last year. Long's more comfortable this year. He's going to be your vocal leader. Him and Brooks together, sheesh.
Yeah, and I used to honestly, and I mean, I'm just call me a Jerome Baker hater. I just didn't like the way he played the position. And I feel like at the linebacker position, you got to be a dog. Like you got to be willing to stick your nose in there and make plays. And I just felt like he wasn't that type of guy for us, especially if you're only going to have two linebackers in that middle. Like you got to have some dudes who are willing to get downhill on cats. And he was always like a chase down guy for me. He honestly should have been, and it's not necessarily his fault. He was playing out of position. He should have been an outside guy. Wholeheartedly, he should have been outside guy and like
better speed.
Yeah, in a 4-3 scheme, he's an outside linebacker, right? But I mean, you have to have dogs in that room, especially if you're gonna have two guys in the middle, kind of manning it. And I feel like our linebacker room is just much better this year. I feel like we will be much better. I feel like we would be able to stop the run. I feel like guys will play fast. They'll be downhill. We'll get more tackles for losses. That's what I want to see. I want to see guys get hit in the backfield. I don't want to see guys getting 3 and 4 yards a clip. That's not going to win us the game. You got to get off the
guys
field.
With the same weaknesses playing side by side. You can't have Duke Riley and him playing with the same weaknesses.
No way.
Duke's never been a run stuffing guy. He's terrible in coverage on tight end and speedy slot guys. And Bake is just, like I said, I liked Bake. I just think that we misused him. Certain times we did. He's got speed off the edge. Those blitzes were great. But
he was a great blitzer.
Like we said, off the edge, the outside.
But Fangio would never blitz him. It's like Fangio was just kind of stuck in his ways. Like the dude literally would just sit back and let us get carved up all game. He wouldn't send no pressure. We'd be like, man, like, are we really gonna play like this? And,
I have a related question on that for you too.
And Ramsey wasn't being used. Ramsey wasn't like moving around. He was just kind of sitting where he was and playing. Hopefully, I think what Weaver showed me in the preseason is that, hey, I'm going to dial it up a little bit. I'm not just going to sit back and let guys carve us up. I'm going to dial it up, send it a little bit, whether it's a corner, whether it's a linebacker, we're going to figure it out. But we definitely going to put some pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah. Do you think our current players are more suited for this defense? Because we kind of had the Flores defense, and then when Fangio came in, the players it kind of seemed like a square peg in a round hole. And I'm wondering if now just going back to a more of a hybrid defense that's a little closer to what they had is going to best fit. You can't just change your roster instantly. We can't just fire everybody that we had to build up to what we were expecting to, what we had. And so that was my question to you and the panel.
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
listen.
Go ahead, John.
No, go ahead. You're our newbie. You go ahead, brother.
But so especially, and when we look at Fangio, right, and we look at guys like Agba, right, and I'm thinking like he was a solid player for us prior to Fangio getting here. And what he did was he tried to stand up Agba and say, hey, you're going to be a stand-up guy and you're going to rush off the edge. That's not his strong suit. Like, his strong suit is with his hand in the dirt. Like, put his hand in the dirt and let him come off the edge and rush the passer. Like, you're not using your guys to their advantage. And using guys like Agba to their advantage this year will be the difference. I mean, he's not a world beater, but he's a very solid defensive end if used correctly. And he can make some plays back there. He can, but you got to use guys to their advantage. You can't box guys in by saying, hey, you're going to do this, even though they haven't really shown that they could do a good job of doing that.
And what you're saying in the Fangio defense, you had Ramsey stuck on one side of the field.
Yeah,
well, listen, if I'm an offensive coordinator, I'm lining my number 3 over there.
Exactly.
I'm not putting my number 1 over there. I'm putting my number 1 on the other side because I know you're not moving a guy.
Yeah. You're not keeping the defense. You're not keeping the offense guessing. Like, if you're going to play him in the same spot every time, you're not showing your versatility. And I mean, they're just going to go away from him. They're going to say, hey, I'll run trips right and I'll leave my other guy over there and you can just play with that guy. We're not even looking at that side anyways. And people didn't throw at Ramsey. Like, I mean, he rarely got thrown at. And when he did, it was typically an interception. So
stay away from because it was the 3 usually. The 2 or the 3 is on his side. Like
exactly.
and they're on purpose, knowing that you're gonna have Cater getting stuck on a 1 and a Howard not playing to his strengths. Like he's not good in press, and he's like, you just can't do that. He's a ball hawk. Let him play center field and zone.
Yeah,
Then with Cam Smith, Fangio didn't he held back Cam Smith. Who knows what he could have done last season if he would have played.
What's up, EM? You gonna have to come up here, EM. You're the last person that we've been trying to get on this show for a minute. So stop looking. We need to get you up on this panel very soon.
Yeah, we got EM, we got DeCondo. We need to get up here.
Absolutely, I would love to have both of them up here.
Sorry. What you said was important about Fangio saying like he didn't have all the pieces and shit. Like Fangio, that's your moment to shine with your experience.
Yeah.
Like don't you almost like sabotage it. Like I'm stuck in these ways. This is how we're gonna do it. I told you we didn't have it as like a scapegoat. Like, bro, get away from that. Like, Emmanuel Ogbah in a 2-point stance. He's a 4-point rusher. He's got length. He batted balls down left and right. Let's put him on the outside where he's got to play a little speedy guy. He's gonna be lost in the sauce.
Yeah,
and playing the new guys too, like not playing. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I don't think that the bad part about Fangio was that all the players were soft. They just didn't like his hard ways. They didn't like the fact that he didn't play guys the right way. He didn't play young guys because he didn't want them to fail on him and his scheme. He's too scared to play his young guys. And then the whole hierarchical thing where he wouldn't work directly with any of the players. They had to go through their own coaches. And, when the coach is out there and you see our new coach just running out there and talking directly to the player, it just wasn't like that. So I think there's a multifaceted reason why Fangio didn't work out. It had nothing to do with the players being soft.
Yeah.
No, and I'll tell you what, from what I've seen in the preseason, I really like Weaver. I like the smile on his face when things go right. I like the look on his face when it doesn't, and the guy comes off the field and he's talking to him and explaining to him what he was looking at and what the player saw so that they understand the next time they run into it. I'm not saying Weaver's going to be the next greatest, but I'll tell you what, I really like this guy.
Yeah, I like Weaver too.
4 years.
Yeah. I mean, I like Weaver too, and I wasn't a big fan. Honestly, guys, I wasn't a big fan of defensive coordinators being on the sideline. Like that's never been my thing. I would rather you be in the box, like looking down and kind of being able to observe everything. But it seems like he has a really good pulse on, the play calls, like what he should be calling, what the adjustments should be. And that's also just having a really good relationship with your assistant coaches up there. Like you got to be relying on those guys in terms of coverages, what you see, what the offense is doing to try to pick you apart. Like you got to be dialed in. And it seems like he also communicated well with McDaniel on the sideline, which is
communicated very well with his players.
Yeah. Yeah. And like going up to them and saying, hey, good job. Like they never, and we talk about Tua and his confidence and Mike McDaniel instilling confidence in him. That's all Anthony Weaver is doing to his guys on the sideline. He's just instilling confidence. Hey, you're making the right play. We see Tyndall take leaps, right? He's looking like a different guy. He looks much more confident. He looks like he's having fun playing football again.
Positive affirmations.
Right? And that's what it takes sometimes. And that's what it takes. So I think Weaver's got the right idea for sure.
And I think what Weaver's doing is he's trusting his vets. He's talking to them as they come off the field saying, what did you see?
Yeah.
Maybe you saw something different than I did. What was on that play that this happened? And he's taking input from them so he knows what plays to be calling.
Yeah. And guys, we know that there'll be times where, our defense will have a hard time getting stops. I mean, that's just the nature of the game. We're going to have games where we struggle. We need to play better complementary football. And the offense needs to be able to step up when the defense isn't playing well. And the defense needs to be able to step up when the offense is playing well. I thought we did a poor job of that last year. It was like when one unit's not playing well, everybody's not playing well. Like we got to find a way to put it all together in games. And that may not mean like everybody playing well. It may mean defense is going to pick it up for the offense, or the offense is going to pick it up for the defense. I think that's just where this team needs to be better. Like the sense of urgency needs to be crunk up a little bit.
Well, I kind of disagree with you on that only because early in the year, I think the offense carried the defense. until they started to gel. And then later in the year, the defense was playing better and the offense wasn't putting any points on the board.
Yeah, but we look at the games like Tennessee, right? And we say, damn, get a stop for his defense. Just keep the rookie quarterback from picking us apart, right? And we look at that game and it's like, man, get a stop and we don't have to work. Like, we win this game if you get a couple stops down the stretch. And
see, I agree with that, but on the offensive side, they needed one first down to end the game.
You're right. And it's kind of like, I mean, it's literally both sides of the ball, right?
Yeah.
It's literally both sides of the ball. But when you look at it and you look at our defense and what we had, and we look at the team we're playing, we're playing a rookie quarterback, right? Like, you got to make it difficult on them, right? I'm just, if you're playing a rookie quarterback, you can't let that dude look like a Pro Bowl player against you. Like, he should be rattled a little bit. Like, if you're sinning a little bit.
We created Brock Purdy.
We did create Brock Purdy. That's crazy. We did do that.
Yes, we did.
We did do that. That's crazy. We created Brock Purdy and the Tennessee. What's the kid from Tennessee's name?
Will Levis.
Will Levis.
He's still trash. There were 3 plays in that game that made that whole game. He had a prayer after a penalty. It would have been a third down, get off the field to DeAndre Hopkins that was completed.
Oh, that was an alley-oop, dude. That was ridiculous.
He was one step Bradley Chubb needed to get off the damn field. And he went on the sideline throwing a helmet. Wouldn't have been a 15.
Oh, my gosh. That was so stupid.
And Vic, you saw what they ran the first time to get the touchdown and the 2-point conversion. It was literally the same sets, the same 4 or 5 plays. There was nothing new, nothing diagnosed. You changed nothing.
Yeah.
Granted, we needed 1 yard. We should have ran the ball instead of doing the stupid bubble shit on offense. But still, those 3 things were so obvious. Come on, guys. Like, obvious.
Yeah. I mean, I need Mike McDaniel to run the ball in those short yardage situations. I mean, I need it. I don't want to see the creative stuff, the finesse stuff. If you're gonna show that, teams are just gonna clown you. They're gonna be like, yo, they really are soft. Like, they really don't want the problems. So we need to get downhill. And I saw Jalen Wright run a power right and get into the end zone in the preseason. I want to see more of that. More gap down backer on the front side, wrap a guard around, run Jalen right off his hip and go get the touchdown. Like, that's what we should be doing. Don't like overcomplicate it, because it's really not. Keep the shit simple.
One time I could say I was proud of Mike this preseason was when they were short yardage and Mostert didn't get it, and he went right back to it. He had faith in it instead of doing something cutesy, a little end around, a little talk. He went right back to it and he let Raheem get the 2 yards. Same thing he did in the first game with Jeff. I don't care if it's 5 carries for 7 yards. You got the first down. You got a touchdown the next series. Like, it doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be cute. You don't have to. I feel like a lot of the first 2 years, Mike is trying to save these guys. He's trying to show that they aren't everything that everyone's talking about. That Tyreek can be just as good with Tua than Mahomes.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's trying to. I forget.
He's trying to get him numbers. Like, he wants Tua to be a passing quarterback. He wants him to get a lot of attempts and throw for 5,000 yards. It's like, bro, just play football. If you play within the game, it'll come. Like, you don't have to force that on guys. Like, just go out there and try to win the football game. Don't worry about stats and shit like that. But I think a lot of young offensive minds are just like passing guys too. Like, that's their thing. Like, if you're not passing the ball and throwing it around the yard, they don't feel like they're doing their job well. Almost, it's like, it's weird to me.
Like a what if FOMO situation that later on he understands, like, shit, I shouldn't have done that.
Exactly.
A lot of these young guys have that same problem. LaFleur does that a lot. Shanahan's done it a lot, especially in big moments where they can't finish, where they have it. Like, you have things wrapped. Why are you
literally Atlanta? Shanahan had it wrapped in the Super Bowl, and he chose to just throw just run the ball. Like, what are you doing, dude?
Well, Shanahan did the same thing in the Super Bowl last year. They're up 10, run the ball, run the clock out. No,
it's been working. Do it.
Right.
You got 2-3 guys that make it work. It's all about C-Mac.
C-Mac literally was gashing them, like literally just running all over them. Like,
even Juszczyk was doing all right. And Mitchell,
bro,
had pieces.
You had
that's where I liked the game against the Bucks. The third quarter, we dominated time of possession.
Yeah, and I think that's where we need to
we
be
ran
too.
the hell out of the ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
But still, I mean, it just goes to show what can be done.
Sorry, Paul.
No, it's okay. It just goes to show what can be done when they do control it. They controlled out of 15 minutes. I think they had almost 12 minutes time on the third quarter.
Yeah.
Just crazy.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that done at all. I was glad to see that being done the way it was done.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's where Mike needs to realize, hey, we're running well. Keep running the ball. Listen, the score could be 21-19. I don't care. The W is the most important part.
Absolutely.
Where like he goes vanilla and then stops doing the plays that actually work. If you notice, Mike, a lot of the times when he calls plays, even if it doesn't work or they don't execute the person the play is supposed to go to, he'll keep showing it as like decoy. And then you see the look. You have the same defensive scheme. The play that you missed because you didn't take that chance, they go back to it and they do the same thing that didn't work while a chance going through the seam wide open, or you have a flank or the opposite side of the field. It's like, Mike, you did it. You showed it. They bought it. They bit. The first time they handled it, this is they think they're going to do it again, and you have the look you want and you go away from it. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, and I hope I'm wrong, but I have a really bad feeling that this year we're going to be doing a lot of shows on Mondays or Wednesdays where we're talking about, did you see how wide open Jonnu was? Or did you see how wide open Hill was? And the play wasn't called to go there, so they didn't go there.
Right.
If they score, we'll be okay with it. We'll be like, all right, at least we got more in the bag. If they don't score, we're head scratching like we have been for years. Like, come on, it's there. The fucking you diagnosed it right. You dialed up right. Come on.
Yeah.
You called the right play. You just didn't go to the right guy.
Right. You didn't need the 17 syllable plays. I'm glad he's somewhat shortened that, I think, enough. It seemed, well, I mean, year 3. At this point, he's got it on lock.
Is that an end product of the fact that our whole scheme is based on the fact that we really don't need a good offensive line, and you kind of have to pick a guy and you have boom, and you don't really have the ability to like survey the field to get to that level? Or is that not a good take?
No, I agree with you, Joe. This offense is predicated on timing, and that's why the ball gets out in 2.2, 2.5, 2.7 seconds, because the play is called to go to a certain player, bing, bang, boom, get in his hands and let him do what he does, which I love. Get it in Tyreek's hands, Waddle, Mostert, get it in their hands and let your stars do what they do. But the problem with that is once it gets past 3 seconds, you can see a huge decline in Tua's numbers and reads and stuff. But that's something hopefully they worked on in the offseason, was getting to 3.5, 4 seconds. I can't stand when I see a Josh Allen or, a Mahomes standing back there for 7 seconds. And I'm like, nobody's near the guy.
Yeah.
They still haven't gotten near him, and he's back there 5 seconds.
Yeah. And it's, I think the Miami Dolphins and Tua, like, they have to do a better job with the underneath stuff. Like, bro, we ran a lot of like 2-man routes last year. And I think even Kurt Warner was saying this. Our 2-man routes are like way down the field, right? And if those guys aren't open, there really aren't many other options for Tua, right? So I think we'll see a lot of the swing routes and things like that. I think we'll see the tight end in the middle of the field being like a second layer to the offense, like having a first level, having a second level with those guys down the field. Like, we need to be eating in those areas. Like, Kelsey doesn't do a lot of long stuff. Kittle doesn't do a lot of long stuff. Just get him the ball in the middle of the field, read your hots, and then you got to be able to read your hots. When guys are blitzing, determine where the pressure is coming from and get the ball in that area. Like, if we can do a better job with that, I mean, the offense should take off this year because we got the weapons, right? I mean, the weapons are there. It's just a matter of getting the ball.
You can hide the deficiencies of the offensive line. But the thing that's weird about that, I don't know what they don't see. The middle of the line is the most important in this offense next to his blind side because it all runs through there. If you have a guy coming through the A or B gap, you don't even have time to let these guys develop their routes at all. But I do think that him losing weight and them saying, okay, He played a whole season. The head might not be an issue. He's going to be able to create and roll a little bit more. He's going to have a lot more flexibility. He's going to have a lot more power to make these adjustments himself. But every time we've heard he made an adjustment himself on a player he called for something, shit was a fucking bomb for 6.
Yeah.
Every time. Or we need a first down right here, Tyreek. It's you. Don't look at him. Don't look at him. It's going to you, Reek. Like, he called the play up. Like, Mike, this is what I want. This is what I'm seeing. This is what I think we could do with what we have.
Yeah, and do you think Kittle and Kelsey are that great because they're that great? No, they get the ball. They get the ball. They get it in their hands. They make a play happen.
Yeah.
How many times you seen Kittle or Kelsey getting hit by 2-3 guys and they're just shredding them and keep moving? They get the first down. Let's get to the next play.
Yeah.
They sit in that soft bubble, like the little hook. They find these little creases of space, and then when they get the ball, they think they're going to make a cut. These guys overcompensate and go right by them. They don't have the speed. They just have the agility and the vision to make it happen. Get in the spaces, find your holes, and go with it.
And they're big body guys who can take the hits, which I think Jonnu is. Jonnu's a big body guy who's going to be able to take a couple hits, shred a couple tackles, and get you the first down.
Yeah.
And we already saw Julian Hill do that during the preseason.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Hill's another one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we used Hill nearly enough last year.
Mm-mm. We barely used our tight ends last year. We had 2 tight ends last year. We barely used them. But
Man, we gotta
guys that just 4 guys that we have now.
Yeah, and I want to see Alec Ingold get more involved in the pass game too. Like I feel like when Mike McDaniel first got here, he was very involved. Like a lot of routes in the flat. He was hitting defensive ends, chipping them and getting into the flat. We gotta start using him in the pass game too. I know he had the cast on at one point and he had a hand injury, but in order for this offense to really be what it needs to be, the fullback has to be a threat wherever he is. Blocking, catching the ball, whatever he's doing, he's got to be a threat. And I think when you have guys like that are kind of tweeners, he could get the ball or he couldn't get the ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jonnu, he could get it sometimes, he may not get it sometimes. But when he does get it, he's going to be open. It's going to be effective. It's going to be a first down automatically, typically. So I feel like we got to kind of use those guys a little bit more. And I feel like we got to spread the ball around. Like, you can't be forcing the ball to Tyreek. Like, I mean, I get it. He's great, right? He's the most dynamic weapon, probably the best player in NFL history in terms of weapons perspective, right? But you have to use him as a decoy sometimes. You can't overuse him. You can't force feed him the ball. You got to find other guys. It's going to make us better as an offense. It's going to make the team better. He's going to open up and get more touchdowns. He may not get the yards, but he's going to get more opportunities to score the football if we just spread it around a little bit more.
Oh, I agree. I think if we can, and I'm not saying limit, but I think if Tyreek only ends up with 1,500 yards, this offense is going to be unstoppable.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because that means everybody's eating. That means
just the arrival of an actual second tight end opens so many of the plays and sets we had. It makes it work so much better. When you have the double tight end set or they're in shotgun, they got 2 on one side, 1 on the other, and the 2 running backs, including Ingold and whoever. When they do the rub block, whoever's doing pass protection, that's Ingold's kind of one of his best things. Like last year, he got one for long catch. The other one he dropped with a hand issue, where he kind of blocks and then leaks slowly out to the flat and then starts going upfield. And it's right there. That's like your safety net. You have both running backs as your safety net. So when the middle's not there, it's right there. Just dump it off. Let them go.
Right, because the defense is thinking, hey, these guys are about to run the football. Like, this is a run set. 2 tight ends, 22 personnel, 2 tight ends, 2 running backs. Oh, shit, they're running. Like, these are heavier sets. So defense is thinking, oh, run, run, run. When you play action and hit the fullback in the flat, the linebacker who's covering him, who's responsible for him, he's lost in the sauce. He's thinking, hey, I need to get downhill right now and stop this run. They're not even thinking, oh, I got responsibility. Right. And there's so many, the tight end screens is such a good option for us too now with Jonnu, him being a threat. You got tight end screens. You got Alec Ingold on screens. You still got Devon A-Chain and all these guys who can do screens. So that's going to be a good way to slow teams down too. And you guys talked about the pass pro and the interior offensive line. Mike McDaniel does a really good job of not necessarily he keeps his guys heavy on their hands. And what I mean by that is the pass blocking looks like run blocking. So they could be pass blocking, right? And it's a slide left, a hard slide. They have low hats, everybody's sitting down, and they're just literally sitting in a gap. And it's a pass play. Like typically when it comes to like pass protection, people think, oh, you got a man and it's one-on-one and you're just going to sit back and let the guy tee off on you. No, Mike McDaniel will say, hey, this is going to be a play action. You guys are going to sell run hard to the left like it's a zone block, and you're going to sit down, low hats, and just stay in your gaps. Don't get up the field, because if you get up the field, it's a penalty. So he does a really good job of doing that, and I think that's the difference between needing a great offensive line and just needing some guys. Because if you could keep teams off balance in terms of like their pass rushing and not knowing when they're going to pass rush and not knowing if in third and long they need to like pin their ears back, it just keeps teams off balance. So Mike McDaniel does a really good job of that, and that's why he's thinking, hey, I don't need the best offensive lineman. I can get away with having these guys because they're going to be sitting down in the gaps, and the defense is going to be thinking it's run when it's really a pass.
Yeah, he just needs athletes that are smart.
Yeah.
But didn't Kansas City win a Super Bowl with a not so good offensive line?
Well, they had
got
a
a wizard
decent
that just
offensive line.
does.
Yeah, they've been decent, but you got to think Andy Reid is just a mastermind too. Like the dude is a really good play caller, and he just knows his personnel and what he can get away with. He's Andy Reid's one of the best coaches in the NFL for sure.
Suck, Verdugo.
He might be the best coach in the NFL right now.
Easily.
He's got
I
the
mean,
best
but
D
listen,
coordinator.
for anybody that wants to say Mike McDaniel's on the hot seat, it's his third year. Go back and look at Andy Reid's resume.
Oh yeah, he took his lumps.
His torch in Philly for years.
He was good, not great.
I've seen it here in Philadelphia. I mean, I'm here in Philadelphia. I was here when all that went down. I actually worked at Marriott before I worked at a mental hospital, and I actually cooked for the media day for the NFC Championship game when they went against Atlanta here in Philadelphia.
Wow!
And I cooked the chicken Alfredo pasta dish for Sal Paolantonio, and he said, finally, I think Philadelphia is going to do it. And he said they were going to beat Atlanta. I said, and I asked him, I said, what you think about the Super Bowl? He said, that's a different monster.
Yeah.
Right, but it takes some of these coaches. Listen, Andy Reid didn't come into the league when he got his first head coaching job and be the greatest of all times. I mean, it took him years of learning. Let's give Mike McDaniel. He has seemed to learn every year and gotten better. Yes, this is year 3, so we hope it's a big step up and he fixes things that he needs to fix, but I'm not looking at him being on the hot seat.
Yeah.
I think a lot of fans like myself are like, okay, I give coaches, and I've said this to you guys on this panel, I give coaches 2 years to implement their system and do the things that they naturally have to do the things with the guys that they have. Finally, now, this is the okay. You got 2 years. You had your 2 years. This is the third of the 5. I need you to win these games that you're not supposed to win. I need to see the things. I need to see the time management. I need to see you manage the game. I want to see you dominate a game coaching. This is the things. They've been calling you this boy genius for so long. Well, I want to see the dominance now. Now you need to heal from the mistakes that you made these last 2 seasons. Try not to make the same mistakes this third season, because you're really going to get criticized even more than you did these last 2 seasons on the things that you did. It's going to be magnified even more deeper now in your third season.
Oh, I agree, but how many NFL head coaches have come in and made the playoffs their first 2 years?
It's not a lot.
That's true.
It's difficult to do.
Here's the thing: the expectations for Mike McDaniel and what the media outlets and all those people, the analysts, they're already saying that this is like a good peanut butter and jelly combination when you have Tua and Mike McDaniel. Now the thing is, are we the dogs that everybody is saying that we are? Are we the dogs that these men are saying in the locker room? Are we that team? Now you have to show that you are that team in the first 2 games, 96 hours within each other, you are going to see if you are those dogs that you say and proclaim that you are. Because you have to win. You have to win these first 2 games. It's a must. It is a must because the implications later down the line can really depend on week 1 and week 2 of the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's an AFC game and it's an AFC East game. So, yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying there. But, you know, it's like you always say, and I'm going to quote you, Winners, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
That's true. But in the same
I'd almost
sense,
rather them struggle early and fix it late and flip flop like we did last year. If it comes to it, it might burn a fire in their ass starting 1-1, 0-2, and they rattle off 8, 9, 10 like they did a couple years ago. We just need them healthy in December, dude. January to December, we need them healthy. We need a team out there. We need pieces in places that we didn't have.
Yeah.
Listen, we're all old enough. We've heard all these announcers saying it's when you peak and peaking at the right time. Kansas City was not a good regular season team last year.
They were bad.
And they still won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it, they had 5 weeks of Kelsey having like 1 catch for 12 yards, 2 catches for 33. Everybody's like, oh, it's Taylor Swift. That's the interest in that. He's away from football. Then he goes from week 12 through the Super Bowl on a fucking tear.
Yeah.
Right. He peaked at the right time. He was putting all his energy into Taylor, and then he said, all right, let me get back to football. And boom.
But here's the thing, John. Here's the thing, John, everybody on this panel. Are you guys tired of peaking and start time to be dominant? See, here's the thing. I'm tired.
I agree.
I mean, and no disrespect to anybody, and no disrespect to what you said, John. I'm tired of peaking. It's time to set the dominance that we, as the Miami Dolphins, know that we can do against anybody in this league. It's that time. Because the door is, like I said, the door is only open for 2 years. I'm only giving the door open for 2 years. That's it. This door is going to be open and closed very quick. If we don't get our act together, all this fun and all this stuff, and no, we are going to be in the same boat if we don't get this done fast, quick, in a hurry. Yeah, it is a marathon. Yeah, it's not a sprint. But you have to start setting dominance and start letting teams know, damn, we went against a really good Miami Dolphins team out there every single week.
Hey, it's going to start with that defense, man. That's who it's going to start with. I'm telling you right now. If the defense comes out and plays bully ball and it shows teams that you ain't going to score on us,
right?
We're going to roll all year. If the defense comes to play, I'm telling you, because the defense will just kind of set the tone for the season if they come out and say, hey, we getting stops. We're not letting you put up 30 and 40 points on us. It's just not happening. If they assume that role, like we're going to keep you to 20 at the max, 21 at the max, you may get 21 on us. The offense will roll because I feel like the offense is just kind of feeding off what the defense does. And there's going to be times where our offense has to score a bunch of points. That happens too. But if our defense just comes out and shows teams that, bro, we're going to stick you and it's going to be a long day, then I'm telling you, this team will roll. I'm telling you. They gotta come to play. They gotta get off the field on third down. You can't be in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 and giving up a first down. Like you got to find a way to get off.
Or getting in the red zone and getting stuck.
Yeah. Hey, Papa Paul, man, I appreciate you having me, man. I really do, man. Yeah, hey, y'all got to punch that like button, man. Punch the like button. Subscribe to the channel. I'm definitely going to post this on my channel so my people over there can see it, man. You guys do a great job.
Before if you're going, tell us about your channel.
So a little bit of my channel, man. I mean, Finn State with CB83. I try to go live, 2 to 3 times a week. Just talking Miami Dolphins football. I dropped a link for people to come up sometimes. I mean, I played college football, coached high school football. So I've just been around football all my life. It's really my passion. My dad was a diehard Dolphin fan. Born in the 50s and 60s here. I mean, Florida, Melbourne, Florida. Like there ain't no other team at that point. There's only the Miami Dolphins, right? So it was no Tampa Bay, no Jacksonville. That's all we knew was Miami, and he kind of instilled that in us. So that's just where we are. We're a family of Dolphin fans, and we just enjoy being around football. And football is family. And I look at you guys. You guys are family too, because that's really what it's about. Just fans coming together, being on one accord, and we all don't have to agree on the the way the team approaches things, or the decisions they make.
And we don't.
Right, we don't.
And like you said, back in the day, I mean, Tampa didn't even come around till 1976, 10 years after the Dolphins were here.
Yeah. So
I think it was in the mid 80s, I think, or early 80s when the Jacksonville came around.
No, they were in the 90s.
No, they were in the 90s. I think the Bucks were the 80s too. I think the Bucks
were 76.
Bucks were 76.
They were 76?
76. And the Jaguars, I want to say
92?
96.
95, 96, because Carolina and Jacksonville came in at the same time.
Yep, absolutely. I remember everybody wearing the colors.
I do,
and everything.
I wasn't sure on Jacksonville, but I do know that the Bucks came in 76.
Yeah, they were definitely 76. Lost every game their inaugural season. They were horrible, but that was back then. It would never happen now. You'd still get 1 or 2 wins with the way they do things, but CB83, are we friends on Facebook?
I don't know, man. We need to be. If not, man, my Facebook. My Facebook is my personal Facebook. I don't have like a channel Facebook.
No, mine's the same way.
Okay, I'll look you up right now and add you.
Yeah,
but we appreciate you, man, and you're more than welcome anytime. You know that, brother.
Oh yeah, bro. I'll be coming around. I just been super busy with everything else. But
hey, you know what? Family comes first, brother.
Yeah. I appreciate you.
I got
hey, John, you a Gators fan? Oh, you a U fan? Okay, all right. I was just making sure.
and I was born and raised in Connecticut, and I live in New Jersey.
Okay, all right, cool. That's what's up, man.
I want to ask.
Do you come to the home games?
I'm actually adding you right now. What's up, Mr. Polk?
No, CBA3 is held back a little bit. He has great film take. So that's another good thing about his channel. He has very good film take. So check him out.
Man. I mean, I break down film from like a coaching perspective. Like I coached offensive line for high schoolers. So I'm not, super technical with all my terms and stuff like that, but I'll break it down so you kind of understand it at least. And that's what I pride myself in, like just people understanding like, football and the gap responsibilities and play calls and things like that. But man, I really appreciate you guys having me. I'm definitely gonna get down to some home games. So my dad we're celebrating my dad's 70th birthday this year. So we're coming down to the San Francisco game to celebrate his 70th birthday. So that'll be, a fun trip where we just go and hang out for sure.
Well, come to Road 209, East 12 through East 32. That's where we all hang out.
Okay, for sure, man. We'll definitely be down there. I'll definitely be down there hanging with you guys. And I see Papa Paul all the time, man. When I'm at training camp, we always link up and have a good time, man.
Yep, we do.
We do.
Yeah, you can't go wrong hanging out with Papa Paul.
Nah, he's the governor, the mayor, man. He knows everybody, man.
I'm not bad for a white guy.
Hey man, appreciate you guys having me. You guys have a good night.
Care, man.
Hey, peace, love,
Fins up.
CBA3.
That was great having them on, man. This has been a really good show, gentlemen. It really has.
Well, just like Tom, I can listen to him all day.
Absolutely.
It's always good to get new people on the show and new perspectives and how they look at things, what they see, their opinions. That's what you designed this show for, and that's what we've done.
Yeah,
well, we all done it, and it's fun. I'm sorry I haven't been very talkative tonight. I'm just sitting here listening to everybody talk and having a good time. Actually,
listen, that was me Monday. That's why I just allowed y'all to sit there and talk. I was sitting there just doing the same thing, brother. So it be like that some nights.
That's what it's all about.
Scotty asked a question earlier. I saw it pop up. Who's better, Mahomes and Kelsey or Brady and Gronk?
That's a hell of a question, man.
It's a hell of a question. Yeah, I love Gronk. Go ahead, John.
Statistically, if you look at it, believe it or not, Mahomes and Kelsey are better in almost every category except touchdowns.
Yeah.
Brady and Gronk have more touchdowns than Kelsey and Mahomes, but yardage, catches, almost all that stuff, it is Mahomes and Kelsey, which, think about it. He's a tight end. They're both tight ends, but look at what they've done for their quarterbacks. That's one of the reasons I want to see the tight ends get more involved.
I mean, think about lose 2 chips.
I love Gronk as a person, not as a player, because he's an arch enemy. But yeah, I would have had to say Kelsey and Mahomes over Gronk and Brady.
Yeah, and they're still going. So I mean, you look at all that, and they're not done yet. Supposedly.
Well, I think if I remember right, Gronk and Kelsey or Mahomes and Kelsey have like 87 or 89 touchdowns, and Brady and Gronk are like 107 or 109 or something. But other than that, Mahomes and Kelsey lead yardage, catches, all that. So statistically, Mahomes and Kelsey are the better two.
Isn't it wild to think that Tony Gonzalez had a range of different Damon Hewards throwing to his numbers that were as insane as they were? Like, I mean, granted, you could say Antonio Gates. I mean, Philip Rivers was good. He was just below the cusp. We never had a team around him to do it. Typical Chargers, like typical Miami, just not enough to put it together.
Right.
I mean, think about too, if Gronk and Brady didn't lose those 2 Super Bowls to the Giants, we'd be talking about, the most ridiculous things in the world. I think that we'll get at least another year or 2 out of Kelsey, maybe, depending. He's winding down. Like, if they win another one, I think he's probably done. Or if they don't win this year, he'll come back for one more, like Jason, to try to get back to it, win one more and be done. But we're going to be stuck with Pat for another 15 years. The guy just keeps evolving and getting better, and he's just so good off script, and he makes that play when you need to play, even if he's not playing his best game. Like, that's just that magic. Some guys just have that magic moment in them, like the Joe Montanas of the world, like the top 5. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, think about it. Like you just said, he makes plays that are just crazy. You're never out of a game. We went through the same thing when we had Marino. We could be down 21-0. We knew we weren't out of the game.
Right.
Those are few and far between.
And then they have like one player that they can rely on to make the play when they need it. Typically, and it happens. Think about Chris Jones. Completely changed that entire team, especially when they needed it the most. Made like 2-3 straight plays. Karlaftis is a great pick for them. They developed him wonderfully. One guy I really wanted Miami to go for last year that, like, you saw how well he did in a complimentary role and not like he needed to be a star was Drew Tranquil. He always killed us when he was with San Diego as a linebacker, and he played great for them. He would have been a great pickup to play outside backer. Another guy that comes to mind the year before that would have been Klein from Carolina. Then you got Anzalone or whatever from the Lions. Like, these teams have like this one identity in each position. I think that's what we tried to do this year. And I think that we're seeing what we're hoping these older guys teach, and these vets, these leadership, this accountability, everything encompassing that we're seeing with this team. If it just comes together and we have bodies late, we don't have to rely on the Eli Apples of trash, the Bruce Irvins, Justin Houston celebrating with his former team and like after the loss. If we just have these guys that want it more, you got to want it more. You're going to be the underdog always. Miami's always stick to the wind. Everyone hates them. They think, it's the same thing over and over. Like, it sucks. We have to put 24 years of pain on these guys because we see the potential in these guys we could have. The fine line between, blaming these guys for it is a lot of the issue sometimes with our fan base. At times, they're a little bit, we're hungry. Been waiting. I mean, think about it. As the youngest, I'll say, I was 10 years old or when we won a playoff game in 2000. It's crazy.
Yeah, and if I'm right, I saw a thing today. It said Jacksonville's actually favored by 2.5 the opening game.
I'm good with that. I love them. We're underdogs and people doubt us. I love it. This team needs to love it. They love it early and then forget when they have success.
Yeah.
Listen, I'd be perfectly happy if we all season long we won 3 or 4 in a row, lost one, won 3 or 4 in a row, lost one, won 3 or 4 in a row, lost one.
just want us to learn from our mistakes and not let it snowball, because that's the whole team does it. It happens on both sides of the ball. One near missed pick that went for a touchdown, one busted coverage where I don't think that we're going to see a lot of these guys barking at each other on the field in a negative way, which we kind of saw the breakdowns last year when things happened, people getting mad and chippy and arguing on the sidelines. I'm good with that, but you got to do it the right way. You can't, and then because once it happens and people are pissed, like the Chubb helmet for that moment, he was pissed he missed the play, he lost his composure, and he cost him. And then the rest of the game, they're just, oh, I'm going to kill him. I got to try to kill him. Stay to your assignments. Know your role. You don't need to be going upfield 20 feet, 20 yards, getting driven up there. They want that. They'll take these little dump balls, Tajay Sharp, and this year will be Tony Pollard. We match well with anybody. We just got to stay within our game and don't let them dictate. And I like how OJ said it. Come out, punch them in the fucking mouth.
Yep.
Set the
Smash
tone.
mouth.
Right? Even when it starts going left, don't let that, use that. Use that fuel. Use that juice. Use what we're giving you as fans, screaming at the top of our fucking lungs, being crazy. Use that juice. It is what it is. We could talk at length about that. We see it. Like, it's there. That's why we're so passionate and so optimistic, but also pessimistic, knowing that we're getting set up for a letdown again. In some way, shape, or form, whether it's the December collapse, we have 40 injuries, our damn training staff sucks, like stupid things, but it all means everything, I don't know. I could talk all day.
I agree with you.
Very well said.
What else?
And
we
for
got?
anybody,
What I missed?
for anybody out there that says we have the most bipolar fan base, no, we don't. Go jump on a podcast and listen to the Jets, the Giants, the Eagles, the 49ers, the Chargers. They're all talking the exact same way we are.
I just
If
feel like we
this
get the worst load
happens,
of it.
Woo. Listen, all they
if
got to
this
do is
happens,
go on.
if that happens, if this player does this, if this player does that, we're going to be okay. They're all talking the same way.
If you click into Philadelphia Sports Radio, if you think that the Miami Dolphins fan base is bad, click on the Philadelphia. I promise you this, and I'm not wishing this to any Eagle fans listening because I know my brother listens to the podcast. So I'm going to say this, and I'm just saying this hypothetically. If the Philadelphia Eagles lose next Friday to the Green Bay Packers, I can promise you this. That would be one talk radio station, sports station, that you want to sit and listen to. And I can promise you, it's not what they say, what we say, is not even close. Close.
I mean, Winners, you and I know too, like the two things that will be said was, why the fuck are we in Brazil? Why?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this team isn't ready. Here's the deficiencies we saw that led to this last year. It's Philly, it's finicky. John, you're right. Everyone is going to have this. I just feel like other teams get a pass where Miami doesn't, because where like we're saying it, then a lot of people listen to talking heads and shit. They hang their hats on with these guys, Colin Cowherd and Nick Wright, and who else talks a ton of shit against Miami? Like everybody, like Keyshawn, that whole panel at Fox. Like, you guys don't even watch AFC football to know. Like,
right.
I hate it.
Well, listen,
like, they said it. Pete Prisco said the third place. Who the fuck cares what Pete Prisco says? Who is he?
I saw two different things today. One was who's the most overrated quarterbacks in the league, and Tua was tied for second. I saw another one that said who's the most underrated quarterbacks in the league, and Tua was tied for fifth.
With the same quarterback in both spots, too. Isn't that nuts?
Yes. So it's like, all right, it depends on which talking head you want to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
Colin has never played in the NFL. Stephen A. Smith has never played in the NFL. You want to listen to these guys, and it's funny because a lot of the guys that did play in the NFL don't talk a lot when they're on their shows. They give their opinion, they're done. It's the guys that never played in the NFL that have the biggest mouths, the most to say, and they've never put the damn pads on in their life.
Go ahead, Paul. Before
just one on
I was going to say right now under Hard Rock bets, Miami's a 3-point underdog.
Right.
I'm good with that.
And the over-under is 49.5.
I believe it.
That doesn't surprise me because it's week one.
Yeah, that's where it's the hardest. The hardest week to bet is week one, in my opinion. First 2 weeks, actually. Week one's the hardest. Week two, you can start to see tendencies, but then teams are doing that on purpose to show tape and show things to other teams that are coming. What was I going to say? Oh, to piggyback what John said, you and I say this a lot. A lot of us say this, is that the guys that get hated on that speak facts and truth are guys that weren't great players sometimes. Just because they weren't great players in the league, or they were backups, or they only got time here and there and did little bits and pieces, doesn't mean that these guys aren't smart and good and understand it. Some guys are just better processing and analyzing it from afar. They've been in the game the whole time. They did the work. They understand it. They had the talent to make it, just not enough talent to be successful enough consistently. But that doesn't take away from what they're saying. So, like, Keyshawn, you had a fantastic career. Your takes are outlandish. It reminds me of like a Draymond, or like you said, Stephen A. Smith. We don't claim him. He loves the Knicks, but bro, you're so wishy-washy and flip-flop. Like, you hate it. The best thing anyone could watch for him is Jalen Brunson. Oh my God. He was the worst pickup. This KD, Kyrie, blah, 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 blah. And now he's like, Jalen Brunson's the best ever. Bro, what the fuck? Like, stop being wishy-washy with things. Jalen Hurts is the best ever. Burrow's the best ever. Nah, now they suck. It's all about this guy. It's all about that guy. Just, your eyes tell.
Yeah, it's all about money. Paul, what you want to say, brother?
No, I'm good right now.
Okay. Yeah, it's all about that. All that money make you sit there and speak and say one thing one moment, and another next moment you flip flop. And hey, look, that's Stephen A. Smith.
I mean, they have other agendas too. You got to think. Some of these guys genuinely have convictions and believe what they say. Other guys are just cherry picking topics and things they want to talk about to cause that. And that's the network. ESPN. We need a clickbait. We need a hot topic. Whether you agree or not, you could tell kind of when they're talking about something if they actually believe what they're saying, or they're kind of humming around the topic and letting others go with it. Like, you see that a lot too. Like, Louis Riddick is incredible. He's one of my favorites. Yes. He deserves another shot at a GM spot. I don't know if he wants it. I think he does, but at the same time, he's super happy and comfortable being involved in so many different ways and not tied down per se. If something opened up like, Houston or us or, teams that he's like skill set for, kind of what they're doing in these other places. You see the teams that are being successful, as we keep talking about it. It's top to bottom cohesion, one vision, one thought with the goal in mind, that it might not be this year, but we're going to build a sustained, successful winner. That's what Miami's been doing. As much as we need that signature win versus good teams in late cold weather to shut up a lot of people, we need that playoff win. We need that division title. We need to finally get to a bowl. We're not stuck in mediocrity hell, kind of. We've been that 20 years of this 24 we've been waiting. Are you tired of 7-9, 8-8, just getting in? Like, we're now getting past that. We're ready to take that next step. If we can take that next step and be 10, 11, 12 wins consistently every year, get to the playoff, win a couple, lose a couple, we have sustained success. We're not shitting and tearing it all down to suck. And then we're not taking Band-Aid, big money bag fixes that we think is going to work. And it doesn't work. Like, Sue got the bag. He didn't live up to the contract because that team wasn't ready for him. We just thought, well, shit, we might have enough talent to make the playoffs. We get this big guy in here with a big name. We throw a bunch of money at him. We might get asses in seats. We might sell tickets. This regime is starting to think more of unilaterally, like the league across the league. You see it. All the teams that were bad are not taking these terrible shots. And the teams that are taking these terrible shots that are bad are still bad. A la the Browns with Watson's contract. The Niners made a flub, but they were good enough with everything else encompassing to get over that. The Trey Lance thing will be one of the top 3 worst things ever done. And we benefited mightily from it. They still didn't really feel the pain getting lucky with Purdy.
Most definitely. And think about it. What's something that Greer did not do this offseason he's done the last 2 years? He didn't sign a big name. He didn't go out and chase anybody. He worked within the system, kept the guys that he had, signed the guys that he had to keep everybody happy, to get them paid. He didn't run out and sign a Tyreek Hill. He didn't run out and try to sign a big name. He kept what was here.
He also didn't cave. He didn't.
Right.
As much as people were upset that Wilkins left and Hunt left, Hunt is a good player. He was developed well. We took a chance on him from a small school, Raging Cajuns, 2nd-round pick, and he developed great. He blossomed great for us. But he's getting top 2 or 3 money for guards. Like, we can't commit that with the style of what we're trying to do. We have great rushers with money. We have a good corner with money. We're going to have a safety, hopefully, that if he's healthy, he's going to get paid. I don't think it's about Miami hasn't brought Holland the contract. Sorry, side note. I think that he's waiting because the market's so down on safeties, and he never got the bag. He was a second-round pick. I'm sure he probably signed like a 4-year, $5 or $6 million deal. He's not paid, but top safeties. Look at Justin Simmons, $18 million, all pro, 30 interceptions since 2016, leads the league. He's a ball hawk. He's flexible to play in the free safety or the strong safety. Better at strong, but still, 18 mil. They cut him. Now he's getting 8. Quandre Diggs, top 10, top 5 safety, 5 mil. CJ Gardner-Johnson, whatever. Remember him? He was on the Eagles, played fantastic, traded from the Saints, went to the Lions, played great with the Lions. He's back on a 1-year, $6 or $7 million deal. The bag isn't there. There was like 15 free agent safeties. So I think Holland's going to wait it out. If he can be healthy in, November Thanksgiving game going into December, and he has a decent season up to that point with the flashes we've seen and the potential that we've seen and the things he does, then you're going to get a contract offer then.
But safeties are not getting, 20, 25 million a year.
Right. It depends on the defense. It's just 18 is the top, what you're seeing out there. You know what I mean? So if he can take, 12, maybe 10, 12, like I've been saying 3 year 27, give him 20. It's good value and he's getting good money, but he's not going to take that. He wants to see what's going to happen.
I got to get off of here because my phone's about to die.
That's funny. I just plugged mine in.
My bad. I came late, but you got me rolling. When you get me rolling, I can't stop. I'm terrible.
Absolutely. I mean, you brought up great points, Tom, and we're happy. We're happy to have you on. You know that.
I love you guys. It was good too because I didn't have to talk about the same type of things. Whoever Dude is fantastic, by the way. I like him a lot. I like that he was talking hella personnel numbers. I'm sorry, went a little nerd on it there, but he was talking 22 and shit. I was like, ooh, I love it. He knows. But
brothers, y'all, definitely. Y'all have a good night. I will see you guys Saturday. Who's going to be on Saturday? Have a good one, and always peace, love, fins up, guys.
Peace, love, and fins up, brother.
Fins up,
let's
brother.
go. We got less than 2 weeks.
Anybody else want some more?
Less than 2 weeks. I got 9 days, and I'm on a plane headed down there.
Guess we'll go ahead and call it a night, fellas.
Well,
Anybody
let our two gentlemen here.
Hooked up, Joe. Any last words?
No, yeah, actually, I just wanted to say that McDaniel has been here for 2 years, and we're going in. He's starting the meetings at 24 minutes after the hour to bring home the fact that we haven't won a playoff game in that many years. He's taken personal responsibility for 22 out of years that he wasn't even here, and I like the attitude that he has, and I'm ready to see McDaniel just be here for a long time. So I'm pro McDaniel. I don't think he's on the hot seat, and I think I'm ready for him to just. This was a rebuilding year when we came in, and now we're forgetting all that. I'm glad it kind of got brought up that we lost these players. Every one of them got overpaid. We did the perfect off season. It's a rebuilding year, and we're going into it thinking we have to win right now. You know what I mean? And I like where we're going. When compared to where we were thinking we were going into the year, I'm just so looking forward to this year. Fins up.
Fins up, brother.
Peace, love, and fins up, brother.
Fins up, Joe.
Mr. Polk?
To piggyback a little bit on Hook Up Joe, I think Coach McDaniel said something to Tua when the season was over with. Tua right away went and started training, got him a quarterback coach, and I'm very excited and with his growth. So I'm excited about the season coming up, but just like John O'Hare said, we gotta wait and see what's going to happen. So with that being the case, good night, gentlemen. Thanks for me being up here.
And we appreciate you, Mr. Polk.
Peace, love, and fins up, Mr. Polk.
Peace, love, and fins up, brother.
All right now.
John, anything?
My only last words are I love and appreciate you guys. I love what you created here, Papa Paul. I mean, I've said it many times. What we do is just discuss things. For anybody out there that's at home, if you're there during the day and you're on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, Marissa Marino is out there. Ashley and Lewis are out there. There's a ton of people out there you can get information from. You can join their groups, or this way you get notifications and see things. We love bringing you information and tell you what went on during the day and who was cut, who was picked up, what the 53-man roster is. But we're all family. We're all on here doing the same thing. So you want to get information, jump on these people's platforms, look at them, hit the like and subscribe, hit our like and subscribe. What are we at now? 2,500?
25, almost 2559, I think it was the last time I looked at it.
Yeah, in what? 20, 22 months?
About that, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we're all family. We're all here for the Dolphins. We all love the aqua and orange. We have different opinions. It's great to get new people on the show. So if you're out there watching and listen, you don't have to show your face. You can hit the little button there to block your camera, and you could just talk to us, and we'd love to have you, just like Papa Paul just did there. He showed you how to do it. We love the conversations. That's what we're here for. We agree to disagree sometimes. We agree to agree. We disagree to disagree. That's what this platform is for. You want to come join us? Please jump on here. It makes the show so much more interesting and so informative to all kinds of people.
Well, we appreciate you, John, and all you do for the show and everything. Want to thank everybody on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and Huddle Sports Network. We're on Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. till whenever, Saturday, 6 p.m. to 7, sometimes a little bit later. Sundays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., sometimes later. And Mondays, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., sometimes later. Other than that, y'all have a wonderful, blessed night. Peace, love, and fins up, everybody.
Peace, love, and fins up, all.
Have a good night, brother.